We talked about some basic configurations already, but not about third-party login providers yet. For this reason, I would like to talk about the Google authentication for Zammad. This works well for internal users as well as customers, so external users. Keep in mind that active two-factor authentications are ignored by third-party authentications because it is expected that this kind of security level is already enforced. The accounts I'm using for this demo are Google Workspace accounts from the starter package. Technically, everything you will see here will also work with free Google accounts without any Workspace membership. Due to restrictions within Google's app configuration, your Zammad installation requires a valid and public top-level domain. That being said, Google does not require access to your Zammad instance. All redirects and communication is done via the user's browser or Zammad directly. Before we can log in with Google, we will have to create a Google app. To do so, go to console.cloud.google.com. Within the Google Cloud Console, now click on Select a project on the upper left. In the new dialog, you then have to create a new project, in case you don't have one yet. After creating the new project, you will have to select it via Select a project. Workspace users may have to switch resources to the organization of their Workspace account to see the new project. Now open the burger menu and navigate to API and Services. In the new screen, click on OAuth Consent screen and click on Get Started. This will open a dialog we will have to follow, in order to create everything we need. First, choose a name of the app you're going to create and select an email address for user support. Ideally, this is not the administrator's personal one. Next, you can choose what users should be able to use your Google app. Internal is fine as long as you only want your organization users to use it. If you select external, it will be available to other Google users too. However, this path involves verification processes. In this case, I will be choosing internal because it's good enough for this scope. External is only required if you're planning on using the app for user authentication for your customers. I will not cover the required steps for the simplicity of this video. Next, you will have to provide one or more email addresses for Google to contact regarding any changes to the project. Now we can finally create the OAuth client. To do so, head to Clients and click on Create Client. Choose Web Application as application type and give it a meaningful name. Now head to your Zammad instance and go to Security and scroll down to Authentication via Google within the Third-Party Applications tab. Copy the callback URL on the lower end of the shown section. Paste this callback URL as authorized redirect URL within the OAuth client creation screen within the Google Cloud Console. After clicking on Create, a new dialog opens. This dialog contains the client ID and client secret that Zammad requires in order to connect and communicate with Google. Copy both information in the fitting field within your Zammad instance. In Zammad, hit Submit to store the provided information. In the Google Cloud Console, then click on OK to close the screen. A short remark about the app's client secret. While these secrets do not expire, you should rotate them from time to time to ensure that they are safe. You can easily create a new secret with Add Secret within the Clients section. After copying and submitting the new secret in Zammad's web interface, you can disable and then remove the old secret. Now that we have everything set up, we can finally enable the authentication via Google. What this does is, it enables the Google Authentication button on Zammad's login page. By default, your users can now use both, the authentication via username and password or the third-party login. However, this isn't enough in most scenarios. If a user tries to log in with an existing account, Zammad will most likely deny logging in via Google. The reason behind this is that the account needs to be linked to the new login source. With this default behavior, users are forced to explicitly link their Google account to the Zammad account within the user profile. Because this is not very intuitive and might lower acceptance, you can enable the automatic account link on initial login. This will link the account automatically without denying the login for the user. The email address will be used as unique identifier during the account linking. While you're in the security management, you can also enable the automatic account linking notification optionally to inform the user that this linking was done. Furthermore, Zammad can deny the account creation via any third-party application if the account does not exist yet. This option allows you to disable the automatic creation by setting no user creation on login to yes. Usually administrators want to have as much control over the user account creation as possible. Keep in mind that as long as users are allowed to create accounts, they can also create more or less dead accounts. Now that users can log in with Google, you can also consider disabling the login via username and password. Setting password login to no will entirely remove the login with user credentials from Zammad's login page. To allow administrators to access Zammad in emergency situations, a link to request the password login will be added to the login page. This will only work for administrator accounts with set passwords and requires a functioning notification sent out. If that's not working, all you can do is to go to the Rails console and enable the password login temporarily. To do so, execute settings set user show password login to true. You are now ready to use Google as third-party authentication, alongside some relevant settings to utilize the Google login as good as possible. I hope that this video helped you with the configuration and some of its scopes. Let me know what you think in the comments. Until next time, take care.